Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the coolest ventures, brightest founders, and exciting things happening in the Nordics. In this episode, our venture date is with Teamspective, Actionable people analytics platform.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You're here because, well, you want to get a real handle on complex topics, and fast.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving deep into people analytics. We're taking a close look at a specific platform called Teamspective.
Right. We'll explore what it is they actually do, and maybe more importantly, what it means for how companies, understand their own people.
Exactly. We've gone through their website, their blog, quite a lot of material, actually.
Yeah, quite a bit. The idea is to pull out the key stuff for you, figure out what Teamspective offers, and how something like this could really impact a workplace.
Okay, so Teamspective, they call themselves a people analytics platform. Big focus on improving team performance. How? Through better feedback and data-driven leadership.
That seems to be the core message.
So our mission, let's say, is to unpack that. What problems are they trying to solve? How do they do it?
We'll look at their features, what they claim makes them different, how they plug into other tools.
And then we'll dig into their blog. They cover a lot: HR tech trends, feedback culture, employee retention. Lots to chew on there.
Sounds good. Let's start with the main solutions Teamspective offers. Engagement surveys seem to be front and center.
Right. The idea is listen to your people and use that to enable data-driven leadership. That's their phrase.
Makes sense. And they talk a lot about pulse surveys specifically.
Yeah, those quick, regular check-ins, not the huge annual ones.
Right. Checking on engagement, well-being, team performance, DEI.
They say the questions are science-backed, customizable, and people can answer in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, via Slack or MS Teams, so super quick, low friction.
And the key thing seems to be getting that data to the teams themselves.
So they can actually talk about it, right? Empowering teams with their own data.
Okay, so that's listening. Then there's personal feedback.
Which ties right in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you know how the team feels, you also want to help individuals grow.
Fuels development, creates engagement. That's the connection they make.
Then performance management.
Yes. They talk about lean and fair performance reviews. Again, integrated into Slack or Teams.
Sounds like they want to make it less of a big, painful annual event.
Yeah, more continuous maybe.
Yeah.
Part of the normal workflow.
Definitely seems like the goal. Now, this next one is pretty interesting. Organizational network analysis, ONA.
ONA, right. So not just the formal org chart.
Exactly. It's about understanding the real network. Who actually talks to who? Who are the key connectors? Where are the bottlenecks?
Like mapping the hidden social structure of the company.
Kind of, yeah. And they say you can overlay engagement data onto this network map.
Oh, okay. So you can see if like a poorly engaged team is also really isolated in the network.
Precisely. Pinpoint those problem areas where engagement and connection issues overlap. They've got blog posts on it like top 7 data sources for organizational network analysis.
So it uses different data points to build that picture.
And they suggest using it for planning growth or restructuring too, making informed decisions.
Based on how the organization actually works, not just how it looks on paper.
Yeah. They mention a case study. Krasman used ONA for a successful reorganization.
That's a concrete example. Knowing those connections helps manage change better.
Makes sense. If you know who the key nodes are, you know how information or influence flows.
Okay. And the last main solution piece.
Anonymous chat, which they specifically link to becoming compliant with the whistleblower directive.
Okay. So a secure, anonymous channel for raising concerns.
Seems like it. So those are the core offerings. Now, what makes them stand out? There's a lot of HR tech out there.
Good question. What's their unique selling proposition?
Well, first, they claim to be the only network-aware engagement solution.
That's a big claim. Linking that ONA directly to engagement.
It definitely seems central to their pitch. Second, they push their AI capabilities.
AI, of course. How are they using it?
Mostly around actionability and efficiency, it seems. Analyzing feedback, surfacing insights.
Right. They have blog posts like how AI will revolutionize 1-1s and how survey AI can revolutionize employee engagement.
And one on applying AI sentiment analysis in engagement surveys.
So digging into the qualitative feedback automatically. Finding themes, maybe?
Yeah, potentially spotting trends in open text answers that a human might miss, especially with lots of data.
Okay, that could be powerful. What else differentiates them?
Usability. That integration with Slack and Microsoft Teams is key. They call it an effortless user experience.
So meet people where they already work. Reduces friction.
Exactly. If it's easy, people are more likely to use it. Seems logical.
And they also tie it back to actual outcomes, right?
Yeah.
Motivation, well-being.
Yeah, they reference blog posts on employee motivation and using pulse surveys for well-being, trying to show a direct link between the platform and positive employee experience.
Got it. Okay, let's talk integration a bit more. We mentioned Slack and Teams.
Crucial. That's table stakes for this kind of tool now, almost. No one wants another login.
True. But they also integrate with HRIS systems.
Yes, like Bamboo HR, HiBob, Personio, the usual suspects.
And what does that integration do?
It lets you sync your org structure automatically, keeps user data up to date.
Okay, so you don't have to manage users in two places.
Right. And you can overlay HR data like tenure, department, maybe performance ratings with the Teamspective data.
Oh, so richer analysis, seeing engagement trends by department, for example.
Oh, exactly. They have blog posts about it, build further insights through HRIS integration, and one about Okta integration, making implementation easier.
So connecting the dots between different systems makes sense.
Definitely. Now, should we shift gears to the blog? There's a lot there.
Yeah, let's do it. It seems like a major resource they offer.
Yeah.
What are the big themes?
Well, HR tech trends, for one. They keep an eye on the future.
Like what?
Articles like 15 HR AI tools that go beyond hype in 2025, top 12 employee retention software platforms. So guidance on the broader tool landscape.
Helpful for context. What else?
Employee development is another area. They have a piece on the 15 best employee development tools.
So not just measuring engagement, but also thinking about growth.
Seems like it. And of course, HR analytics. How to use data strategically.
Right, turning data into actual insights. An article on HR analytics tools fits that.
And performance reviews. They have guides on the best software, but also on simplifying the process itself.
Ties back to their own lean and fair reviews feature.
Exactly. But the biggest focus, arguably, is on employee surveys and feedback culture.
Okay, let's break that down. Surveys first.
They go really deep, comparing HR surveys versus pulse surveys, a definitive guide to pulse surveys, the science behind their pulse questions.
They really want you to understand pulse surveys.
Oh, yeah. Addressing common blockers to implementing them, why they're important for well-being, even a list of the 10 most important employee survey questions.
It's like a masterclass in pulse surveys.
Pretty much. And then there's feedback culture. Just, wow.
How do you mean?
The sheer volume of content, the ultimate feedback guide, written versus spoken feedback, the recipe for perfect feedback, tips for receiving feedback.
Okay, covering all angles.
How people block feedback, the ROI of investing in the culture, the perfect amount of feedback, the 3 types of feedback.
This sounds exhaustive.
It really is. Why we need feedback, the world needs better feedback, common mistakes with positive feedback, how to ask for feedback.
They clearly believe feedback is absolutely fundamental.
Undeniably. They talk about the feedback shortfall, navigating the feedback jungle, 360-degree feedback software, simplifying reviews, even the platinum rule for communication.
Okay, so massive emphasis on feedback. How about employee engagement directly?
Also a big topic. They have a glossary, which is handy.
Yeah, definitions can be useful.
Practical stuff, too, like using AI to put engagement data into action. Their AI-powered pulse snapshots.
Linking the AI back to making sense of the survey results.
Exactly. And tips for getting high response rates, boosting happiness with pulse surveys, understanding what traditional surveys don't tell you.
So really practical advice around engagement.
Definitely. They also explore drivers of motivation, engagement in cross-functional teams, psychological safety.
That's a crucial one. Psychological safety.
Absolutely. Creating a performance culture.
Yeah.
Understanding ENPS.
ENPS, Employee Net Promoter Score. How likely people are to recommend working there.
Right. They explain it, how to manage your score, and even give managers 5 steps to improve pulse results. Actionable stuff.
Seems very focused on helping managers use the data.
Which makes sense. They're often the ones who need to drive change.
Okay, what other major themes did you see on the blog?
Employee churn is addressed. Costs, reasons, how to avoid it.
A perennial problem for many companies.
And they touch on turnover contagion, the idea that people leave after colleagues do.
Interesting. The ripple effect of departures.
Yeah. They also have content specifically for growth companies.
Like startups or scale-ups.
Exactly. How O&A can help them specifically, and guides to HR software suitable for scaling.
Tailored advice. Good.
And just general advice on people analytics, like 3 simple steps to get started, how to identify and fix team problems using feedback.
Making it less daunting, maybe?
Seems to be the aim. And they even touch on hybrid work models.
Very relevant today. The missing piece of a successful hybrid remote working model.
It's a pretty comprehensive coverage of modern workplace challenges.
And finally, you mentioned case studies earlier. Do they give more detail there?
Yeah, they highlight successes with companies like Danfoss, ZoomInfo, Meru Health, focusing on engagement, leadership, high-performing teams.
Real-world validation.
Right. Sprinity improving performance and safety, Silo AI and Mahalainen building feedback cultures, and one specifically on increasing employee lifetime value through better onboarding.
So demonstrating impact across different areas.
Exactly. It helps make the benefits feel more tangible.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big picture on Teamspective after this deep dive?
Well, it really seems to be a platform built around feedback loops and data visibility, using surveys, O&A, performance tools all integrated, ideally within Slack or Teams, to give organizations a clearer picture of what's happening internally.
And the goal is better engagement, better performance, smarter organizational decisions.
That's the promise. They provide the tools, and through their blog, a lot of the thinking behind why these things matter and how to approach them.
Right. So for our listeners trying to get up to speed quickly, we've hit the main solutions, pulse surveys, O&A, feedback tools, and explored the wealth of resources they offer on everything surrounding that.
From AI and HR to the nitty-gritty of giving good feedback.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. We've talked a lot about how Teamspective connects feedback, engagement data, and this idea of the organizational network.
Yeah, they really emphasize that interconnectedness.
So thinking about your own context, your own workplace, if you could only focus on improving one single area, maybe it's the frequency and quality of feedback, maybe it's getting a better pulse on engagement, or perhaps understanding those hidden network structures. Which one do you think would create the biggest positive ripple effect?
That's a tough one.
It is. But considering the different perspectives we've discussed, the pulse surveys, the O&A, the different feedback strategies where it might be the most impactful place to start for your situation, something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or your favorite app, and connect with us on LinkedIn for more stories and insights.